We got a question on our Babble section, Ralph, using the hashtag AskSCPB. And of course, if you have questions for us, you can send them on Twitter at SCPB Podcast, also Facebook and Instagram too, same handle, or you can wait in our community page for those questions too. This one comes from Mex for Life, and he just wants us to grade AEW and WWE for 2022. I feel like neither of them are A's. I think both of them had their blemishes. They've had some strong things, but there's definitely things they can work on both sides, whether that's the tail end of the McMahon era of WWE or the front side of Triple H's run as head of creative for WWE. You can look at blemishes on both sides. You can see good things from both sides. Mm-hmm. Tony Khan, I know everybody loves him. He probably is going to win Booker of the Year this year, but he's going to win it by default if he does, because he has not had a good year booking. And a lot of people are starting to see his problems in booking. Honestly, if I were to grade both of them, I wouldn't give them any higher than a B.
I was going to say AEW is probably a B minus. I would say WWE is probably around that, say, B minus B range. I think that both have done really good things. I think both have done some things that are questionable. With WWE, it's really a tale of two different things. Like you said, small sample set with Triple H. The Vince McMahon stuff, especially towards the tail end, was pretty bad. I mean, the stuff that's obviously very good. Cody Rhodes debuting, Cody Rhodes matches, Seth Rollins reestablished, Triple H is reestablishing the mid card, if you want to call it that. Those mid card to upper mid card titles, keeping Lashley involved. The Bloodline, obviously amazing, great storytelling. Sami Zayn, amazing, great storytelling. Sheamus and the Brawling Brutes. I mean, SmackDown has obviously gotten much better. Drew McIntyre's been good. He's brought some guys back, some questionable returns. So I think WWE has had a pretty solid year. Most of the pay-per-views have delivered. Mm-hmm. There's been some great pay-per-views, matches, Clash at the Castle, Gunther's great. So some good stuff.
Right.
AEW has also had some really good stuff. They've also had some questionable things. I think the thing with AEW is where Tony Khan, I think, slipped up a bit. I think he bit up more than he could chew with one, the build and kind of booking Forbidden Door, and not in the sense that it was bad or in the sense that nobody wanted to watch it, but you absolutely, without a doubt, put a lot of people on the back burner for the sake of promoting that pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. And many of the people that were on that pay-per-view, especially from New Japan Pro Wrestling, it was a build-up for a few weeks or however long leading to the Forbidden Door, and then they weren't on AEW television after. You know, I think that to his credit, even though some people don't like the fact that Ring of Honor is so involved with AEW, and I think that's a fair criticism, utilizing Chris Jericho, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I know it serves a purpose, you know? So I think they've both done really good things, and I think that we could point to things that we both dislike on all of their shows. Mm-hmm. So I would say a B minus to a B for both of them.
Yeah, I would agree. I think what has been good or what has been an issue with Tony Khan is trying to get Ring of Honor a TV deal. And by doing that, he's got to kind of put a lot of Ring of Honor on Dynamite. And I think that's kind of factored into the on-air programming, trying to showcase all these different talents of Ring of Honor that maybe the whole audience doesn't necessarily know, and they're not going to do their homework for it. So don't just say, Google this person. You can't do that. You can't assume people are just going to Google to get context. It's a television show. You got to provide context elsewhere. I also think there's been harsher criticism than there really needs to be sometimes. More in particular recently, the Hangman Page. Why is Hangman Page mad at Jon Moxley? The context is there, guys. It was there. And even when you got Lance Storm saying, I don't understand why they're mad at each other. All Moxley did was say 2 lines and you got the whole story.
Well, for starters, they're competitors.
Yes.
They're competing in what we are pretending that is a professional league or company, right. And their job is to kick the shit out of each other.
Right.
You don't necessarily need to have a deep-rooted reason for guys. Some people, especially in the UFC, you'll see this a lot, different backgrounds, different approaches to the sport of MMA, different philosophies, and that's all you need, and they don't like each other. Mm-hmm. That it doesn't have to be some deep-rooted like conflict. Right. It's just, hey, Moxley presents himself as this. I present myself as this. We don't see eye to eye. and we're going to fight about it.
Right. But there's more of a reason, because Hangman Page, feels like Moxley doesn't give him the respect he deserves because he called him kid and he gets the concussion during the World Championship match. So now he's got even extra heat on Moxley. He's like, dude, you cost me this because you concussed me or whatever, even though it's a legit lariat, it's a legit move. So I understand that aspect of it, but there's a reason. I'd be pissed off too if someone concussed me and took me out of a championship match because of it. It's like Roy Munson getting pissed at Ernie McCracken because his hand got ripped off by the ball returner in Kingpin. It's the same damn thing. So you're telling me that it's bad writing and bad storytelling that Roy Munson hated Ernie McCracken? No, it's a legit reason. It's the same thing here. But back to what I was saying, Ring of Honor, the whole Jericho Appreciation Society versus Blackpool Combat Club, it's been nothing but 50-50 booking, not really going anywhere. The wheels have just been turning for most of the year. I could say the same thing with Bianca Belair and Damage Control. The wheels have just been turning and turning and turning, and it's really gone nowhere. So they've had their ups, they've had their downs, but I think equally they've been at the same mark. If you want to give them a B-, I'll give them a B. But